Good morning and welcome back. Well, if you want all the dirt in the backyard gardening, so to speak.
Where's Cindy Adams?
Well, there you go. Make a beeline for Long Island's North Shore, East Norwich to be exact. Janice Huff is live at the Viette Nurseries to learn all about gardening. And we say good morning, Janice. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Boy, it is beautiful out here.
It looks lovely, yeah.
Look at, can you see these tulips behind me?
Sure can.
Aren't they gorgeous? I tell you, this is a great day to be out in the garden. Although I don't garden myself, I think I may actually take up the hobby out here. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. Do you garden, Ken or Perry?
No. My thumbs are brown. I can't grow a thing.
Oh, well, then I don't feel so bad then. Well, this is where we are at the Viette Nurseries in East Norwich, Long Island. We'll be here for the rest of this morning talking about all kinds of gardening tips and showing you what you can do. Coming up a little bit later at 9:30, we'll have the latest in gardening tools, all the newfangled stuff, or maybe just some basic things that you'll need in your garden. That's just a little taste of what's going on around the tri-state area today. We'll have more best bets coming up a little bit later on, but remember at 9:30, it's the best in gardening tools. And look, I even have my hat on today. Well, it's on the back here, but I'm ready.
Do you garden, Janice?
No. No, but I have all the accessories. I have all the clothes for gardening, but I have nothing else. But I'm going to learn a lot today, I think.
That's what counts, Janice. Just remember it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
And to a much lighter note now, Janice Huff is getting some planting pointers. She's out on Long Island this morning, and she's at the Viette Nurseries in East Norwich on the North Shore.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janice. You got your clippers?
Actually, my tools are right behind me.
Oh, good.
Coming up in just a couple seconds here, we're going to have the general manager from the nurseries show us and tell us about the latest in gardening tools, because you're going to need these, and you can't believe what some of these can do. The latest in technology. That coming up in just a second. Let's check the weather. It's a beautiful day for gardening and just about anything else outdoors. The sun is shining brightly, a bright blue sky here in East Norwich, no clouds. It's 59 degrees right now. Okay, come on in, Doug. This is Doug Akerley, who's the general manager here at Viette Nurseries. How are you this morning?
Great. It's a beautiful day.
Isn't it great? What have you got for us now? Show me some of the latest in gardening tools.
Well, as I was explaining before, what we have noticed is a trend towards gardening with senior citizens and people who don't have quite the strength in their hands and arms that a lot of the gardeners did 20 years ago.
Sure, sure.
Gardening's such a great hobby, and so many people are getting involved now. What we have noticed is tools that are reflecting those needs.
Okay, what have you got in your pocket there? Hip pocket.
Okay, in the hip pocket we have a new type of pruner that's Swiss-made. It's a really fine tool that, if you notice, the handle on it actually pivots.
Yeah.
And what that does is I can cut an inch-wide branch on this with almost no effort whatsoever as it turns.
So even for senior citizens, that's like so easy for them.
I have seen 80 or 90-year-old people in a nursery that take this and can clip right through an inch-wide diameter.
Wow, that's great.
Wonderful.
Show them this one. I like this.
Okay, this is kind of an exciting tool. This is the first year that we've carried it. It looks at its face as a normal lopper. Now, obviously, a normal lopper can cut off an inch, inch and a half, 2-inch branch pretty easily. Now, in a normal person, you have a little bit of a tough time cutting through some woods.
Right.
So what they've done is they've actually created a situation that this will telescope.
And it will, because I've seen it.
And these come right down like that.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you have this extra leverage.
And that extends it further, and you don't have to climb a ladder.
You don't have to climb a ladder. You take that danger out. You can reach up high for it, and the extra leverage provides a lot easier cutting for
Okay, great. All right. Show me one more thing. We've got to do our best bets here for a second. Just
what
briefly.
we've got also is a small spade. It almost looks like a kid's tool. However, this is a very functional tool in the garden. As you can see next to a larger one, it's less than half the size. Very lightweight, but it's great for getting in around perennials, and you don't have quite the volume of soil to lift with it. So it's much easier to divide perennials and get in around your other plants without damaging. It works wonderful for any type of garden.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks a lot, Doug, for showing us these tools.
My pleasure.
And we're going to have more a little bit later on coming up from the Viette Nurseries here in East Norwich, Long Island. More gardening tips for you coming up a little bit later. Perry, Ken?
You want to know how much of a brown thumb my friend Ken has?
Yeah, I
Oh,
want to
no,
know.
you're going to tell.
While you were
bust
doing
me.
your little thing, Ken explained to me that he has a plant in his living room. But why don't you tell him what it is?
It's a tree. I can't believe it's a tree, but it's silk.
You have a tree?
It's a silk, but it's silk.
But it's,
tree.
because, you know, I'd rather dust than water. It just comes down to, I don't know.
He'd rather dust than water.
That's a good line. I'm going to have to use that one.
It works in restaurants. You can pick people up with it. It's amazing. Thanks, Janice.
Okay.
And Janice Huff is honing her horticultural skills this morning. She has traveled on the Long Island Expressway to East Norwich on the North Shore. She's at the Martin Viette Nurseries for some gardening tips. Morning again, Janice.
Good morning. I am holding something, Perry. You ever seen one of these?
Yeah, it's a
What is
thumbtack.
that?
I knew you'd ask that.
Right.
This would make the perfect Mother's Day present, maybe for
Why?
your mom or your grandmother or your aunt or someone for gardening. This is a gardening stool. This is a garden stool. So you just, let me demonstrate. You just kind of sit it like that, just place it, and then you just sit there. Oh, you have to be able to hold your balance. And you can put it anywhere in the garden, and as you're like weeding or planting or whatever, and you just kind of lean over and do stuff, and it's great.
Radcliffe.
My
You know, you
mother
can
would
twirl
love one of
around.
those.
Whoa. What?
Rotate, right.
My mother would love one of those. How about
Yeah.
yours?
Well, I don't think so. But maybe my godmother would like one of these. I think I may get her one in her garden. You know, this would make a great gift for Mother's Day. So think about that. We're going to have some gardening tips coming up in a second. We're going to talk about planting your garden and making it look as beautiful as some of the gardens here at Martin Viette Nurseries. All right, now it's time for more gardening tips. And this time, Doug Akerley is back to talk about planting tips for us. Now, over here, let me stand over here. I see these beautiful tulips. I want my tulips to look like that. I want my row, my garden to look. How does that happen? How
Well,
can I do
it's really not a complicated process, but it does take some time. And what I'd like to do is quickly explain the concept of good planting techniques and good design techniques and how they go hand in hand.
All right, you got your hole dug here. Why is it so big?
We've got a hole dug here. I obviously did this ahead of time so that I could show you the depth and the type of hole you should be digging when you're planting mass beds. And whether you're planting tulip bulbs or annuals or perennials or ground covers or a combination of those, it really doesn't matter. It's the same type of planting technique that should be used for that.
All right.
So what you do is you dig about 12 to 18 inches in depth in the entire area that you're going to be planting. What that allows you to do is add the soil amendments. Now you have to add organic matter. Peat moss is a good source of organic matter, and that allows you to really loosen up the soil a lot, and it retains the moisture and any nutrients that are added. You also want to add an all-purpose fertilizer when you're mixing, so it's down in the root zone. This should be mixed up thoroughly and backfilled into the hole. And then you plant directly into that new medium. What that allows you to do is it allows you to create a soil in the entire area, especially down deep where the roots are going to be 2, 3, 4, even 10 years down the road.
Oh, okay, so this is in a little spot. And it will come out looking just like that?
And then what you do is you plant nice, massive drifts of one variety.
So
and
beautiful.
It's so stimulating when you see that bloom.
Yeah, it certainly is. It is beautiful.
It's much more attractive than one of this and one of that. You just pick a color or 2 colors and just really mass it out, and you can get an incredible bloom with just some simple, delicate techniques.
Thanks a lot, Doug. Thanks a lot for your planting tips. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to go inside the nursery and talk some more about planting and gardening as we continue on this beautiful Saturday here in East Norwich. Back to you, Ken and Perry.
Thanks a lot, Janice. Doug makes it seem awfully simple, like add water, stir, beautiful.
I don't think it's that easy.
Or, of course, try the Taylor method. Just wax them.
Just wax them. That's what I'll do. Thanks a lot, Janice.
Thanks, Janice. I think we better check in with Janice Huff.
Good idea.
Because she is out there in Long Island, in East Norwich, and I bet a lot of things are growing at this point. Hi there, Janice.
A lot of things are growing, but I have nothing to do with them, believe me. My hands aren't even the slightest bit dirty yet. But there are a lot of beautiful plants here and beautiful flowers here at Martin Viette Nurseries. And we're going to talk in just a few seconds about some of the more common gardening problems and what you should do to rectify those problems. All right, let's check the weather. Beautiful morning, absolutely gorgeous. Wind's picked up a little bit, though. So hold on to your hats today. I've got mine tied around my neck here so I don't lose it. But we have sunny skies. Our temperature is 61 degrees. I'm starting to see a few puffy stratocumulus clouds popping up on the horizon. Now we've got more gardening to talk about, and with us is the owner of the nurseries here is Russ Ireland. How are you this morning?
Great, thank you.
I know that you were telling me earlier that People bring their plants in when they've had problems, and they say, what's happened to my plant? How can, you know, what did I do? How can I help it? What are some of the more common problems with the gardening plants?
Well, especially in the spring at this time of year, we'll have people bringing in all different types of interesting problems, but the main thing is that most plant problems that come into us at this time of year stem from the fact that probably the plant that's being brought in has not either been put in the right location, or the soil, the foundation that the plant was put in probably is not adequate. Therefore, very often the plant material is under stress, and that leaves it open for insect and disease problems, scale and mealybug and those type of things.
So they should actually start from the very beginning when they're putting the plant in the ground and putting the soil in, doing it properly.
That's the most important thing, is to select the right plant for the right location, exposure-wise, and then to understand what type of soil conditions and amendments should be added for that plant so it's healthy and vigorous, therefore hopefully eliminating most of your insect and disease problems.
Okay, and you do that right here. You can tell people all that information.
We try to do it every day.
Okay,
Yes, we do.
Thanks a lot, Russ. Thanks very much. And you know, the last frost date here on Long Island is May 15th. Even though we aren't expecting frost, temperatures could drop into the 30s, and so, you know, it's really a good idea to probably plant those tender plants and those impatiens a little bit later, and not now, even though we aren't expecting any really brutally cold weather. All right, we'll take it back to the studio, back to Perry and Ken. And I'll have some more tips coming up a little bit later. I have more.
Let's see the hat, Janice.
Let's see the hat.
Yeah.
No, I'm saving that for the end.
The finale.
Oh, the big finale, the grand finale.
I gotta save something for the end.
Well, there you
Fair
go.
enough. Thanks, Janice.
And Janice, you got any dirt yet between the fingernails or anything?
I got my gloves on.
You got your
kidding?
gloves on, that's right.
Protecting my hands. Although the gloves are not that dirty, they're a little worn though. Yeah. All right, we're sitting actually in front of a little like a garden area that's been set up. Big popular thing now, of course, is garden art and the new things to do in your garden, things to put in your garden like wooden and also iron benches. You've also got trellises. They're very popular. And statues are very popular now. Once again, they've gone out for a while, but like fountains and statues and so forth. Lots of things you can decorate your gardens with. It's a really, really popular hobby in the United States. And I tell you, there are people here have a lot of fun with it here at Martin Viette Nurseries. All right, let's check the weather. It is a nice day if you're going out. Trying to get our little friend here to come over. Is it Specs? Is it Specs, honey?
Specs ain't having it.
Come over, honey. Specs is 10 years old, and she's been here since she was born. Specs, dear? Guess not. Doesn't want any part of that. Oh, we've got some people back here getting plants. Let's see what everybody's getting today. Sir, what are you getting? What are you buying?
I'm looking for some mint.
Oh, wow.
Today's the Kentucky Derby.
That's
So you have to have
right.
a mint julep, of course.
Well, you're right about that. How
Okay.
appropriate. Well, good luck in finding your mint.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, get your mint. You make your mint julep or put your hat on, too. All right? That's it from East Norwich, New York. All right? See you later.
The
Let's
finale
talk about my
shot.
plant.
You look
There you go.
wonderful. There you
Do I
go.
look great?
See you, Janice.
Okay, bye.